Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Scarborough here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And there's a break in the action here. I just mowed the lawn. Woohoo! That's why my hair looks like I did it in a blender this morning. But it was a relatively cool day today and not too muggy. It's supposed to get muggier tomorrow, so I figured I would get some of the hardest mowing done today. We have our property is quite hilly, and we have one section that's a real struggle, and so the grass is very lush. So, all right. So I'd like to do a reading on where we stand after these two terrible shootings. I don't want to ask a particular question, actually. I want to look at the cards and see what comes up as we are facing in the United States the scourge of mass shooting and violence, where I heard today that there are more guns in this country than there are people. And a lot of those, I mean, not all those guns, but a lot of those guns are guns that should never be on the city streets, and probably shouldn't even be in war, because killing, efficiency in killing is a paradigm that we need to change, right? Okay. But we have these now, and it seems as though the one in El Paso was focusing on Mexicans and or Hispanics. I'm half Puerto Rican, so doesn't make me feel all that comfortable. It shouldn't make any of us feel comfortable. This is terrible. Mothers and fathers, children, grandmothers, grandfathers, all just shot down. So where are we now in the United States? Where are we now? And then the one in Dayton, Ohio, the majority of people killed were black. And the sister of the shooter was killed. Okay. And there were 9 deaths, but like 24 injuries in a minute. In a minute. Okay. The current situation. We have the Queen of Swords. Okay. Let's see what's crossing the Queen of Swords. The Ace of Cups. The Queen of Swords is a card that takes action. And it's just action, and it's balanced action, and it's necessary action. Crossed by the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is generally one of the most positive cards in the deck, but as a crossing card, it could be a lack thereof. So a lack of love, a lack of compassion, a lack of happiness, a lack of peace. A lack of peace. See what's at the root? Okay, so at the root is dissatisfaction, a sense of futility with life. Okay, so what these cards are looking like so far, because I didn't ask a specific question, was the root of this problem that we have. Okay, that's what it looks like it's getting to. Let's see what was in the past. We have the 9 of Swords, ready to fight. In the sky, the Prince of Pentacles, planning for the future. Being financed, the immediate future. The Lovers, that's the choice card. How it's seen from the outside, trying to seek balance through emotional ups and downs. This can also be financial balance. It's a domestic situation. More work needs to be done. Hopes and fears. I think to put our swords down, to put these people and get them the help that they need. Mental health care, right? I want to say something about that too. Outcome, King of Cups, okay? Let's see if we can pull a major arcana. The Magician or the Alchemist in this deck. And let's see what's underneath it all. The Ace of Swords. Okay, so this is what these cards look like to me. Because I did not ask a specific question. I wanted to know where were we as a country. There's different layers of meaning here. And let's talk about us as a country. We want to take an action, especially the mothers and the women, okay? Want to take an action because we're tired of the pain, we're tired of the sorrow, we're tired of these senseless acts that where we're giving everybody our thoughts and prayers when what we really need is gun legislation. There is a futility, a feeling as if there's nothing we can do about our situation. And yet the cup is being offered by Spirit, which is actually this cup. Okay? See, it's the same cup. In the past, we have been ready to take on any fight. We're very good at fighting. We go far and wide to fight. In the sky, there is the energy of thinking about our future in a different way, in a more practical way, in a way that's more in alignment with, dare I say, natural law. Like the natural law that says you can't shit where you eat, or you shouldn't take more than you can use, or as you sow, so shall you reap. Natural laws. So this is planning for the future, planning for the lean days, being careful with money, being careful with resources. And we have in the immediate future, which is 6 weeks, the next 6 weeks, we have the Lovers card, which is about choice. And so what these cards say to me is that we have a choice. We have a choice to change things. It's going to take a lot of balancing, a real balancing act. We're not going to feel secure, which, of course, as a Cancer country, scares bejesus out of us. Domestically, we still have a lot of work to do. Especially around, I feel like this card doesn't always mean this, but as I see this gentleman in the garden surrounded by the beautiful greenery, we need to tend our resources better. We need to have more respect for the earth. We need to have more consciousness. And this card is about pruning to create growth. And so where in our country do we need to prune? I would say our military spending. That's what I would say. Because in the past, we're like, yeah, let's go fight there. Yeah, let's go fight there. Yeah, let's fight for freedom. Who's freedom? Usually multinational corporations decide who we're going to go to war with. And historically, it's been the fossil fuel folk. Afghanistan has rare earth minerals, and Syria. They want to put a pipeline through Syria, and Iran has oil reserves. And any place where our military is a place that has a resource that we want. It's an old story. We're just the newest version of that old story. The very thing that we rebelled against as a country. Hopes and fears. We want to rest. We want to rest from the chaos. We want to put our heads down and not have nightmares. We don't want these swords hanging over our heads. And here we have, in this window, we have, it looks like a Lady of Guadalupe, actually. And it is the picture of Mother Mary, or the Virgin Mother. And so it's about healing. It's about healing the mind. And that's what we want. We want to heal the mind. As an outcome card, the King of Cups is somebody who rules responsibly, rules with an eye on what is best for his family, his nation, is not overcome or suppresses his feelings, but utilizes them to help him make decisions on how best to go out into the world. There's a ship back here. Whenever you see fish, you will know that there's a fish coming out of the water here. I don't know if you can see that. Fish are symbolic of wisdom. And then the major arcana that was picked was the magician. And the magician knows how to use all forms of all four elements. As above, so below. As you sow, so shall you reap. It's about concentrated action. It's also a 1, so it's about new. What's new? The new way of doing things. And then underneath it all is the Ace of Swords. And it's about taking action. And I feel as though this is action on the gun stuff, okay? This is the action on the gun stuff. Now, on another level, I read this way. If we were going to look at the people who are perpetrating these crimes, they have a sense that the rules are antithetical to them, especially when it comes to the feminine, because it's a different energy. It's like, it seems to be more of like a brotherhood. There seems to be less women in these sort of organizations. It's like a band of brothers. It's like that feeling. And a woman would not be, I would say, a woman would not be welcome there. So I feel as though they are pushing against authority, but especially feminine authority, because they're not happy. They can't find love. Now, I'm not saying that all of these guys don't love their mother. I don't know. But they cannot access joy. They have trouble accessing joy. And things are being offered to them. Joy and happiness is being offered to them. But they're too busy looking down into their situation. They're too isolated. They feel all alone. Okay, and this isolation is a fertile ground for radicalization. And we have the glorification of war in this country. I know a lot of people blame video games for, the violent tendencies. You can virtually murder people on video games. And there's not that much difference, especially if you do the whole, like, you put the thing on your, and you're just seeing what's in front of you. You're getting all the body feelings. That's why it's so addictive, is because your body is reacting as if you're in that thing. And so what you're doing is, it's almost like if you want to lift something heavy, you keep using those muscles to strengthen them and strengthen them and strengthen them. And that is what is happening, is that these kids are getting, are their brains are being developed in this way. If they had normal interaction with people, or they didn't feel like they were such an outsider, or they weren't ostracized for being different and they were accepted in their social group, then there would be stops on this kind of thing. Your best friend might say, "Hey man, that's like not cool. What are you doing?" And if you care what the other person thinks about you, or if you have a relationship where there's mutual concern, you're going to probably listen, right? You're probably going to listen. Now, what's in the sky here is I thought of two things. Not all the seeds have come up. There's going to be more of this because the seeds have been planted already. But this also looks to me like there is people who are willing to back this financially. Now, I don't know who those people are, but they're out there and they're willing to back these groups. In the immediate future, we have a choice. We have a choice. And the choice is love. The Lover's card is about love. The choice is that we love each other. Even these poor kids who are on the fringes of society, who feel isolated, maybe they need the most love. But we have to choose to love. We have to choose. This is about love. It's about dialogue. It's about back and forth. It's about bridging the divide. You can see that there's two people here, but there's a mountain in the middle, and it takes a lot of effort to come to walk up that mountain on your side of the mountain and meet in the middle, and that creates the energy of the higher spiritual self, the coming together of the masculine and the feminine, the balancing of the masculine and the feminine. These young men are not balanced in that. They have lost their compassion. And perhaps some of them aren't wired that way. These children have, for the most part, been given medication since they were little because they did not fit in. You know, there's that ADD stuff, and there's chemicals and pesticides and toxins in the environment. That affects the brain. That affects, and then there's this popularity contest that has gotten to I mean, in the United States, they voted for somebody who wasn't real. All that popularity stuff is not real. It's not real. It's an illusion, right? And so to try to live up to that illusion is very difficult, if not impossible. And it injures us. And so what do we need to do? We need to find the balance. We need to find the emotional balance and the physical balance. We need to watch what we're doing with our resources and how we're utilizing them. Are we going to utilize them for war? Are these companies who make these video games, and believe me, I'm not, video games are the bane of existence, but you know, they make a lot of money on this stuff. Where is that money going? Are they even being taxed? Probably not. If they're big enough, they don't get taxed, right? The domestic situation, getting back to nature. These kids need to get back to nature. They need to walk and in the garden. They need to work with their bodies instead of getting all isolated in their heads. Now, this isn't a prescription for all of them, I guess, but there is a need to connect with the earth and connect with what is real as opposed to what is virtual. Hopes and fears is that they get the healing that they need. That they get the healing that they need. The outcome, this is Trump. This is his wound. He is a 37-1 shadow vibration, and that's this card. Somebody who's suppressing their emotions, not willing, is being driven by their wound. Okay? And then acts out on it. Okay? And then what needs to happen? The law needs to change. It's kind of a long roundabout way of saying that the law needs to change. We know that part. So you can read cards all different ways. And I thought I would give both of those because as I was looking at the cards, both of them came into my mind. So hopefully you find that helpful. Prayers to all the people who've been affected by these tragedies, for the souls of those who have departed, for the families they leave behind, for the communities that are less because they have gone, and for the shooters and all those potential shooters out there, that they can find a sense of belonging that doesn't include murdering people. If you see something, you have to say something. And it's really hard. I was watching last night on MSNBC. What was the name of it? It was like a special series. Something hate, undoing hate, or something. You can tell me what it was. But it's the guy who used to be in the White Nationalists, who does this thing to get people out of these white nationalist organizations. He helps them. He helps support them through it. And he was being, the government was giving him money under the Obama administration to continue his work. But when Trump got into office, he cut all or most of, I think by 70%, the budget for domestic terrorism. And so there's not much that I guess the FBI can do. And then there's also, because it's domestic, the laws are different. And so it's harder, I guess, to do something about this. It's very strange. And so the laws do have to change. The laws do have to change. And we have to become more loving and spend less time killing people, because we do it on the outside, right? We're doing it all over the world in the name of whatever, right? People are getting tired of that too. So, and of course, Trump is responsible for the uptick in this stuff because he talks the talk and they feel empowered. They're like, the president is on Mars. Like, they finally feel justified in their hate because the president is doing it. Vote, folks. Vote, vote, vote. Vote this guy out. If the Democrats can't impeach him in a timely manner, vote him out. Get him out. All right. I hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe. Thank you for all your comments about my garden. It is lovely. It's what keeps me sane, so I like sharing it with you because we could all use a little peace and love and sanity. Take care. Bye.